Recording, and I'd like to welcome you all to our Lunch Club Travel Edition, where today we'll be taking a trip to Yellowstone National Park, and please look forward to the other national parks we're going to visit this month. Lou, hope you enjoyed the session, learned something new alongside with our seniors as well, and thanks so much for presenting as always. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, Alex. Great job, as always, preparing the slides. I really appreciate it. This one's a little bit of a special park for me. If I was at home, I'd show you a picture. Um, I went to Yellowstone in 1979, and I went with a pile of my friends from Detroit. We just rolled into the van, the beat up old van, and we drove out there. And make a long story short, we ended up at one place we went to I think it was called Rainbow Pool or Rainbow something. And I shared with my buddies like a year later, I said, that was probably the happiest moment of my life was the time they were together at Rainbow Pool. And the funny thing is, like the other guys I was with all said the same thing. It was almost like voodoo. Like what? Why was so this place is very, very special. And it's almost unexplainably special to be the most wonderful time of all of our lives, almost for no reason. It was really weird. All right, enough of that. So here we are at Yellowstone National Park. So happy to present. Alex, you might have to guide me from time to time, but we got a wonderful agenda. Where is it? Then and now, and a little bit of trivia. Thanks for doing the trivia, Alex. All right, let's jump into it. So where exactly is Yellowstone National Park? Well, let's have a look here. Whoop, did I go too fast? Let's back up. Where is Yellowstone National Park? So now, Alex.
Yeah, you're fine, Lou. That's just a photo. You can see that it's a
Oh,
world
okay.
site from the map, so that's where it's located.
So y'all see that? Anybody know what state it's in?
That's a trick question, Lou.
It is a trick question. I think you got three right answers on this.
Is it Utah?
Oh, I don't think that's one of the right answers, but
No.
it's a good guess.
Wyoming?
That's the most of it is in Wyoming. Yep. Upper left-hand
Okay.
corner. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll just let that be. I think Montana is one of the other ones, and I think what's the other state it's in, Alex? I think you mentioned it. Is it Idaho or I can't remember.
Oh, we'll definitely mention it in the videos and the content today.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about how we're going to get there. Now, I told you we piled into the van. What I didn't tell you is I hitchhiked home, so that was a trip in itself. All right. Let's look at the different ways to get there. Oh, interesting. Thank you for this. So we can fly out of Reagan Airport and to Jackson Hole Airport. Whoa. And then we drive. So combination of air and car, was that, Alex? It's 10 hours and 16 minutes, they're saying?
Yeah, if you slide over, you can actually see the route on the map as
Oh,
well.
that is so cool.
Yeah, if you go to train, bus, and shuttle, you can see that route.
Oh, that is
Um,
so cool.
and then you see the drive. If you just drive, it's 35 hours. So the third option. So you
Well, now,
can
so let's do this. So does it change the thing depending on when I click? Oh, it does. That is so cool.
Yeah, again, when you hover over it, you'll see the route on the right. But yeah, you just clicked on the plan, you can actually see the plan and the cost for each of the routes. So this one, you take the train to gallery, and then you see the steps when you scroll down on that side.
Okay, and now let's try the
Yeah.
gallery. So if I hover over it, or just if
No,
I
so
click
look,
it.
no, on the route is on the right, Lou. So if you click on a specific route, that's what will happen. And in the route, if you pick a specific direction. So yes, hit the back for the trip plan, and you'll see just more of the actual trip. So no,
Okay,
where it says trip plan, Lou, trip plan route subway, hit the back button.
trip plan. Okay. Oh, I get it now.
So yeah,
Okay.
you'll see the route, and then if you keep scrolling through, you can see the exact, the cost and the transfer. So we're gonna take the yellow train to Ronald Reagan, do that transfer. It's about a 7-hour flight to looks like South Dakota. So if you keep scrolling down, when you select a route, you can see that exact route. So
So Reagan National Airport to Jackson Hole Airport. So if I click on that, okay. Oh, I see. And if I
Just so you can
scroll
see more
down,
information.
I see. This is a neat website. So it shows you the various flights. Nice.
Yeah. So if
So
you go all the way back, they gave you 8 different ways to get there, and they're different costs, and it shows you the cheapest ways, and versus the length. So I think because it's just nationwide, I think it's important for us to look at the different methods to get there. So if you go back up and then hit that back button again.
yeah, I think I already did. Uh,
Yeah. So yeah, but you do it again to go back to the other 8 routes. But look, it's 2 hours from a car from Jackson Hole Airport, and you're at Yellowstone. That's how a lot of folks transfer in. It's about 90 miles from there.
Now, Alex, can you tell me what website is this? I never saw this. It's very powerful. It's called Rome to Rio.
Yeah, there's many different travel planner sites, so it's just picking the one that you like. So yeah, if you scroll down, there are even more ways. So if you hit show 4 more options, you can look at some more options for the travel.
So let's do the drive. So drive, it depends on the gas price, I guess. So that's
Mm.
probably that's how I got there. Oh, and looky there. It puts you right through South Dakota. That's where Mount Rushmore is, right? And so
Yes.
look at all the cool places you can stop. You can go to Chicago. Of course, everybody's going to want to stop in Detroit. You know, you just quick zip up there. Of course, everybody's going to do that. And then you go pick up a Lions game, and then you go to Chicago. All right, and then you go to Wisconsin. I don't know what's in Wisconsin, southern Minnesota. Oh, you go to Mount Rushmore for sure. Why? Oh, you know what's right here, guys? Very special place. Guess what's right here where this finger is? Anybody want to take a guess? We got Alex. If anybody guesses this, they're in the running for a prize.
We don't,
See where the finger's pointing?
again, Lou, we don't have any prizes today.
Oh, no prizes. Well, without a prize, that's okay. Anybody ever see the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Anybody remember that movie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yes, it's that big rock, Devil's
It's
Rock.
Devil's Tower,
Oh, yeah,
Wyoming. That's
yeah,
right,
yeah.
Devil's Tower, Wyoming. So you got it. That's a must see. I camped there with my buddies, and we hitchhiked. We hitchhiked here, all the way from Detroit, and we camped at Devil's Tower. It was magical, a
Wow.
magical place, and it was full of prairie dogs. The little prairie dogs. Oh my gosh, they were adorable. All right, enough of that.
Friendly Lou?
Oh, they were the friendliest little guys. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
if we were hungry, there are a lot of them too. I mean, they were everywhere.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
they almost ate out the entire ferret, the black-footed ferret disappeared from that area because of all those furry dogs eating them.
So say that again,
Oh,
Thomas. They did people ate the prairie dogs or the prairie dogs ate
There's
something?
there's an animal called the black-footed ferret,
The
and they
Blackfoot. Go ahead.
footed foot, black paw, black paw, black foot ferret, and they were almost put out of extinction because the prairie dogs that was the number one food source.
So you mean the prairie dog ate the ferret or the ferret ate the
Yes.
prairie dog?
No. Prairie dogs ate the ferret,
Oh my gosh, that's terrible. Would
and
they?
I believe the animal rescue people saved about 30 black-footed ferrets and brought them east and start breeding them here. There are no ferrets where the prairie dogs are now.
Oh, I didn't know
cool.
that. Huh. Well, we didn't see any prairie dogs back in the any ferrets in the 70s. So yeah, I guess they were in decline even back then. All right. Well, maybe we'll look at Devil's Tower some other day. But the great resource here, Alex. So here's a train.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah,
Oh
there
my.
are many other routes. I'll definitely
Oh,
check out some of the other slides so we can make sure we get to all of them. There's a lot of material.
oh my gosh. Look at all this stuff. All right. Well, let's continue on. Very cool website, Alex. Very cool. All right, so let's see if I can figure out how to get back. Give me a sec. All right, help you all see it. So what's the weather like in Yellowstone? Well, I think if I click on this, I'll figure it out. Look at that. Whoa. So is this current weather conditions, Alex, or is this right now?
Yeah, Lou, if you take a look, it's right now you see Thursday, you see Friday. So you see what's going on right there, right now. So if you like snow, it's your best bet.
Look at that. Not too cold though. That's okay. Right around freezing.
No, it's pretty. It's up there in north. This really yeah. It's cold. It's not like the cold down here. So it's pretty cold. I know you're from Detroit, Lou, but you know not all of us are. So it's
Yeah, yeah.
cold. So
Look at this six.
okay.
Yeah, they get some crazy temperatures back in this neck of the woods. But you know what, folks? The temperatures are dry. So I used to live in Seattle. We used to drive through the mountains of Montana. It was like 40 below, 40 below. But guess what? It didn't feel that cold because it was a dry cold. Now, it probably would have gotten frostbite if I was out there too long, but I just wanted to share that. In DC is a wet cold. It's a nasty wet cold. All right, let's go here. So we oh, this is the pool I was telling you about. That pool. So let's explore Yellowstone a little bit here. Okay, this is exciting. So is this their website, Alex? It looks
Yeah.
like it is.
Check out the video below this.
Wow, there's a video here. Oh, wow. Okay, here we go, folks. Oh, you know what? When I shared the screen, I don't think I shared the sound. So let me stop the sharing and reshare. Give me a moment. Okay, take two. Here we go.
The park is just a howling wilderness of 3,000 square miles, full of all imaginable freaks of a fiery nature. Now I know what it is to sit enthroned amid the clouds of sunset. Rudyard Kipling, 1907.
Beautiful.
Welcome to Yellowstone. The human stories of Yellowstone reach back 11,000 years and include your journey today. What drew you to Yellowstone?
In 1871, rumors of volcanic activity prompted scientists to explore and document the Yellowstone area. Artist Thomas Moran and photographer William Henry Jackson accompanied the expedition. And through their paintings and photographs, Yellowstone captured the hearts and imaginations of the American people. A year later, Yellowstone became the world's first national park. Land set aside as a place for all to experience nature's wildness. Discover your Yellowstone. From dazzling palettes of color created by microscopic communities of heat-loving organisms called thermophiles, to the joy of new life, to water crashing down into the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone River, to so much
Hay all over the place, dude.
Are you ready to experience your Yellowstone?
If you're interested in hydrothermal features, this is one of the best spots in the world to view them.
Gaze into the park's numerous hot springs, pools where water heated underground flows freely to the surface. Watch geysers, hot springs with an underground constriction, erupt hot water above the surface. More than 500 geysers, over half the world's total, are found within the park, most of them near Old Faithful. Listen to fumaroles, the hottest hydrothermal features, hiss and growl as heat flashes the limited water underground into steam. Look for bubbling mud pots, acidic hot springs that dissolve the surrounding rock. Tour these hydrothermal wonders along the park's many boardwalks.
Yellowstone is a volcanically active area. Much of the park is actually situated inside of the Yellowstone caldera. The caldera was formed about 640,000 years ago during a massive volcanic eruption. Today that caldera is about 30 by 45 miles wide.
All this volcanic and hydrothermal activity is due to Yellowstone sitting atop a geologic hotspot, a place where molten rock, known as magma, reaches closer to the surface than normal. As you explore Yellowstone, think about the tremendous heat beneath your feet. Stay on boardwalks and marked trails in all hydrothermal areas.
To experience Yellowstone is to experience the heart of one of the largest and most intact temperate ecosystems on Earth, known as the Greater Yellowstone Ecosystem.
The ecosystem contains vast lodgepole and Douglas fir forests, sagebrush steppe and alpine tundra, wetlands, rivers, and lakes. Within this ecosystem lives a diversity of native wildlife. Food availability determines where wildlife is found in the park. As the snow disappears in the spring, Yellowstone bursts to life. Ungulates such as elk, bison, and pronghorn roam across the ecosystem within and outside park boundaries, based on the growing season of the plants they eat and the severity of winter. As summer returns, these animals migrate to areas like the fertile valleys of Yellowstone. Predators like wolves, bald eagles, and river otters are more elusive, moving around based on where their prey are found. Summer is a time for colorful blooms of wildflowers to cover the mountainsides, young animals to grow strong before their first winter, and male bison to compete for mates. To survive, Yellowstone's animals must move freely in their environment. Keep your distance. If any wildlife approach you, immediately move away to keep your distance. Prevent them from eating any human food. Help keep Yellowstone's animals wild. The arrival of fall brings the very active and loud elk mating season. It's also a time of preparing for winter. Bears focus on gaining weight.
Bears hibernate for 5 months out of the year here, and so the months that they're active, they're intensely feeding, trying to gain enough weight for hibernation.
Foraging bears may not notice you. It is especially important to know and practice bear safety. Be alert and keep your distance. When hiking, make noise. Travel in groups of 3 or more. Carry bear spray and know how to use it. As winter returns to Yellowstone, new opportunities abound for visitors. And it can be a great time to spot wildlife. Taking advantage of the lack of competition for food, trumpeter swans migrate to Yellowstone during the winter. Elk, mule deer, and bison migrate to lower elevations, or they can be found around geyser basins, where the heat keeps winter snows at bay. Millions of people also migrate through the park each year. Whether you are here for the first time or are here time and again, there is a lot to enjoy. With the greater Yellowstone ecosystem extending over many millions of acres, encompassing state, federal, tribal, and private lands, it is a living laboratory filled with knowledge waiting to be discovered. Find out how the changing climate affects the ecosystem, or how native populations are impacted by invasive species. Learn how fire plays a natural role in the ecosystem, and how research on microbes living in extreme conditions has led to medical and scientific discoveries. Explore Yellowstone's visitor centers, join in a ranger program, and most of all, get out into the park to witness the wonders firsthand. Take time to get to know Yellowstone.
People have traveled from around the world to experience Yellowstone. They have enriched the history and chosen to preserve and protect this world-renowned treasure.
Some of my most memorable experiences in geyser basins have been at sunrise or sunset. So it's very quiet, and the light will sometimes strike a geyser pool just right, making it a beautiful color.
Just seeing the reaction of visitors when they see a grizzly bear for the first time, or a majestic bull elk. And it's just a remarkable thing to watch.
I got to see Old Faithful, the Grand Geyser, and some other ones. My favorite was Old Faithful.
There are no other places like this on the face of the earth.
There are so many stories to learn from Yellowstone. It's your park, and so we want you to enjoy it while you're here.
Welcome to Yellowstone.
Visiting Yellowstone is said to be life-changing. A place to be preserved for and enjoyed by all. Once you experience Yellowstone, where will it lead you?
Wow, that was great. And any thoughts about that? For those of you who've been to Yellowstone, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Lou, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you go.
Seeing the water of Old Faithful brought back a memory because I was kind of young then, so it looked like it was a big giant coming down out of out of the earth, and it was fascinating how far it goes up.
Thanks for sharing. And any others, people who've been there, was it life-changing for you to go there?
I hadn't been there myself, but I wish I could go now.
I'm telling you, folks, there's something weird about that place, where it shouldn't be that life-changing, but it really affected me. It affected all my friends too. And it's sort of weird. It's like it's got some kind of weird energy about it.
Is that because of the geysers?
In one of the videos, you'll see that, Lou. So I it's so interesting you would say that.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't even seen the video yet. All right, let's see it. Now you got me excited, Alex.
Yvonne, you wanted to share something?
Oh, I was asking, was it because of these geysers that are unique to Yellowstone? The hot springs that, erupt?
Could be. I mean, it was this weird euphoria. Euphoria is the only word that I could explain. It's the weirdest thing. There's no reason for it.
Right.
All right. Should we click on this one, Alex?
Yeah, you can pause it whenever you like. Just some ideas of some of the lodges that are there.
Yellowstone National Park was established as the world's first national park in 1872. The park was established for a lot of reasons, including the abundance and diversity of wildlife, which today amounts to the most free-roaming wildlife in the lower 48. There's more geysers, hot springs, and geothermal features than anywhere else in the world. Well, the park is huge. It's actually about 2.2 million acres. There's about 400 and some odd miles of road in the park as well. Now, the road system in the park is basically a figure 8 with 5 spurs that lead to the entrances. And the park's villages are scattered around the upper and the lower loop of the 8. In the north, and the original headquarters is Mammoth Hot Springs. There's a hotel and cabins here, dining, fast food, visitor center, and the original Fort Yellowstone as well. As you head south and east, the first place you come to is the Roosevelt Lodge. It's the most western location in the park. Most of the cabins are rustic, but with the corral and a stagecoach rides and an old westerner cookout, it's a very western experience, kind of a dude ranch experience. Continuing south from there and over Dunraven Pass, a beautiful drive, is the Canyon Village. It's got the newest lodging facility in the park, the Canyon Lodging Cabins, and visitor center.
I'm
there,
not
great
hearing
visitor center
anything.
that's focused on interpreting
I
volcanic activity.
I don't
in the
see
area
anything.
that
They're
was
coming
the
in and
reason
out.
for having
We're
a
able
place
to
like
hear the
Yellowstone.
video, okay?
Further south
All right,
beyond
now
that
I'm
is the Lake
beginning
Village.
something.
There you have the oldest hotel in Yellowstone, the Lake Yellowstone Hotel and Cabins, and
Okay.
the most upscale dining and gift shop again, and tours and activities. Just down the road is a much more rustic lake lodge, all cabin facilities. Everything's got a private bath, rockers on the porch so you can rock and enjoy the view of the lake from there. Further south from there even is the Grant Village. It's located on Yellowstone Lake also in the West Thumb area, not too far from the West Thumb Geyser Basin. Grant Village is a series of 6 lodges with about 50 rooms each, and they get 2 restaurants, lake views, gift shop again, and tours and activities. Heading west about 19 miles from the Grand Village in West Thumb area, you get to the Old Faithful Village, and that's the single largest village we have in the park. 3 facilities there. The Old Faithful Lodge is all cabins. The Old Faithful Snow Lodge, a newer facility that was completed in 1999, has lodge rooms and cabins as well. And then the renowned, the iconic, the Old Faithful Inn, the one that is credited for really launching the movement for rustic national park architecture. Has over 300 rooms. The restaurant there is located inside the hotel itself. There's also a very popular bar, lounge, the Bear Pit Lounge, big gift shop with a lot of Native American items and local artists. And then you're right in the Upper Geyser Basin there. All those facilities are there. So you walk out your door, you can wander around the Geyser Basin. Makes for a great location. We, Xanterra and Yellowstone, have 4 campgrounds and 1 RV park. All our campgrounds have comfort stations with running water, flush toilets, and dishwashing stations as well. We have 1 RV park in Yellowstone, and that's the Fishing Bridge RV Park, where we can accommodate the newer and larger RVs of today. By taking a tour activity, you're really enhancing the experience, and we offer a variety of them. The vast majority of them are road-based, and they might be in minibuses, larger buses, 50-passenger.
Well, Alex, I'm thinking we pause it here. That was a great overview of the different places. I'm afraid we're going to run out of time unless I keep moving. Any thoughts about what we just saw? Any thoughts?
Would you rather lodge or camp, Lou?
We camped. I mean, I'd say if you're young enough and fit enough, I would camp. Maybe that's what helped make us feel close to the whole natural experience. Actually, hopefully on this trip, we'll look at the C&O Canal too. I actually camped the C&O Canal when me and my brother biked the whole canal. And there's something about camping outdoors that makes you really connected to the site. I know I was also very affected by the C&O Canal. a weird energy in that place. And I think part of it was because we camped the whole way. We never left the canal. Similarly, we were outside the whole time we were here. So yeah, if you could camp, I'd do it. But that's a little tough nowadays when you're a senior like me.
And there was an Indian village. I mean, an Indian, yeah, I guess village or whatever. Um, and I'm not sure. I can't remember if it was actually in the park or by near the park. But it was very interesting to see how they cooked and did things, and and living in the teepees and stuff. So I found that interesting, and I saw my first bison
Oh,
and a baby bear.
no, is that Ann Dennis talking? And
Yeah.
was that
Mhm.
what year was that you were there?
Oh, that must have been around 1959 or 50,
Okay.
somewhere around 58, 59, somewhere in there.
So much of the Indian cultures have been lost since then. That's why I'm asking. I wonder if that's still even around.
Yeah, I was wondering that too myself. Yes, because it has been
Keep
a
keep
lot of
moving
this
on.
has turned into different kinds of places. But I won't keep talking because I know we've got more things to do. But it was very it for a kid it was very interesting.
Yeah, maybe we should talk about some of the Indian cultures too on these slideshows. Any other thoughts? All right, well, I'm going to continue on. So Yellowstone then and now. Here we go. So is there anything to click here? Ooh, there is. Okay, let's see what we got here. Ooh, look at that.
Yellowstone. The world's first national park is known for its geysers, hot springs, and magnificent landscapes. It's also home to the largest concentration of mammals in the lower 48 states, including these 5 animals that roam the park. Gray wolf. Perhaps no animal is more iconic to Yellowstone than the gray wolf. Each of Yellowstone's wolf packs consists of around 10 wolves. These social animals howl to communicate with other members of their own pack and to indicate their territory to rival packs. Pack members work together to hunt large prey. In the wintertime, elk make up over 90% of their diet. A single wolf pack can kill upwards of 20 elk over the course of 1 month. Elk. Out of the 7 native ungulate species in Yellowstone, elk are the most abundant, with an estimated population of 10 to 20,000 animals in summer months. Male elk, known as bulls, are easily distinguished by their antlers, which they drop and regrow each year. A healthy bull's antlers are just under 6 feet wide. During mating or rutting season, males use their antlers to fight one another over females. Grizzly bear. An estimated 150 grizzly bears call Yellowstone home. After they emerge from hibernation in the spring, grizzlies will feed on elk, bison, and other ungulates, as well as a variety of plants. A female will give birth to up to 3 cubs at a time. The drive to protect and feed her little ones may put her claw to paw with some of the park's other top predators, as well as male bears. She'll raise her young on average for a little over 2 years before sending them off to live on their own in Yellowstone's wilderness. American bison. Nearly 5,000 bison inhabit Yellowstone. The park is the only place in the lower 48 where bison have roamed freely since prehistoric times. Males can stand over 6 feet tall and weigh up to 1 ton, making bison the largest land mammal in North America. Despite their size, bison are agile and can run over 30 miles per hour, an advantage when they're being chased by Yellowstone's predators. Bison calves are ready to run and keep up with the herd within hours of birth. Their orange-red fur has earned them the nickname Red Dogs. A young bison's hair turns to the classic chocolate brown color within a few months. North American river otter. While many of Yellowstone's other iconic animals roam on land, river otters spend much of their time in the park's lakes and rivers. Yellowstone's thermal features keep its waters from freezing over, allowing otters year-round access. Otters have 2 young per litter. Females act as the sole parent and enjoy playing with their young in and around the water. Playtime also helps otters learn survival skills. And the water isn't just a big otter playground, but a food source as well. Otters propel themselves through the water with powerful tails and flexible bodies, enabling them to catch fish like these native Yellowstone trout.
All right. Well, that was great. Thanks for sharing that, Alex. Let's turn that off. Any thoughts about what we just saw? Any thoughts? Anybody got any bear stories, by the way? Anybody got some bear stories? We saw some bears there. No one?
It's
I got
in the news sometimes. You got to stay very careful when dealing with wild animals. So there are definitely news stories online about some of these animals. So
I even heard that black bear occasionally wander up the riverbeds in the DC region. So that's an interesting fact. And I've got a real quick bear story. So I used to lead high school kids in Olympic National Park and Mount Rainier National Park in Washington State. And one time I left the group, I had to go back early. So I was by myself and I was hiking back about 10 miles in the backcountry. And I went over a little mound and all of a sudden I encountered a female grizzly bear with her cub. And I was like really close. I was like 25 feet away. And she was startled. And immediately she put her baby cub up in the tree. Now, when you lead high school kids in those kind of big wilderness parks, you got to train them how to deal with bear encounters. So luckily, I knew what to do. So I kept my eyes looking at the female, and I slowly walked backwards, really slowly, until my body was not visible. I went behind the rise, basically backed up. And I waited for like half an hour. And then when I walked back, they were both gone. But she had immediately kicked into her fight or flight mode. And she was deciding whether she's going to kick my you-know-what, or if she was going to flee. And because I didn't turn around and run, I would have been dead. But because I didn't turn around and run, she still wasn't sure what to do. I slowly backed away, slowly. And so that's my big bear story. All right, here we go.
Geysers and hot springs for kids. Have you ever seen something like this before? Do you know what it is called? If you said it is called a geyser, then you are correct. This particular geyser is called Old Faithful and is located in Yellowstone National Park. The water surrounding this geyser is called a hot spring. Today, we are going to learn more about geysers and hot springs and do a little experiment while we learn. Ready? Let's go. First off, let's talk about geysers and what they are. Geysers are natural pools of water that sometimes erupt, sending steam and hot water into the air. Geysers are the result of hot magma heating water deep in the earth. The resulting pressure of this reaction then forces the water to the surface of the earth. Here is an interesting fact. The word geyser comes from the Icelandic word gísir, which means to gush, and geysers totally gush. Geysers are a specific type of landform that always have the following characteristics. First, geysers have a narrow opening. Next, geysers spew water and then steam on a repeating cycle. Last, geysers are always found in places with a lot of geothermal activity, most often near volcanoes. Remember how we said that geysers are hot pools of water that sometimes erupt? Well, hot springs are those pools of water. These springs are also filled with minerals. Like geysers, hot springs are also a result of magma heating water underground. This water then rises to the surface of the earth and forms into pools. Unlike geysers, however, hot springs do not erupt or gush. The reason they are called hot springs is because they are pockets of water that are hotter than the surrounding ground or air temperatures. The water in a hot spring is usually 98 degrees Fahrenheit or hotter when it comes out of the ground. Here is an interesting fact. Some hot springs can turn into geysers. This happens when a hot spring becomes pressurized and erupts. Think of it this way. All geysers are technically also hot springs, but not all hot springs are geysers. Most of the world's geysers are located in the United States, especially in the West, as well as Iceland and New Zealand. Here is an interesting fact about Old Faithful. It gets its name because it erupts on a very regular basis. It is estimated that each eruption discharges about 3,700 to 8,400 gallons of water. And the jets of water can rise to heights of over 180 feet.
Well, that was pretty good. Any thoughts about that, folks? About geysers? All right, I'm going to continue. Alex, I hope you talk about
Water is warm.
Yeah.
Very warm.
You wouldn't want to fall in it.
No.
Oh no.
All right, here we go. Next one.
You can skip the next one and because we kind of learn about animals, you can go to the next video, Lou.
Oh, skip this one?
Yeah, you can go to the next video.
Okay. Ooh, this looks good.
Yeah,
Now we're talking.
That's what I was hinting to. I hope you guys learn a lot.
I'm Julie Francis, archaeologist with the Wyoming Department of Transportation. Yellowstone and its geology played a very important role in the spiritual and religious beliefs of a lot of people. The Yellowstone Plateau is perched across the Continental Divide, and it straddles what early anthropologists defined as three major culture areas. These include the Columbia Plateau, the Great Plains, and the Great Basin. Many tribes believed that supernatural beings resided in some places within the park.
Well, we do currently have 26 tribes that are formally associated with Yellowstone, and for a lot of them, they have absolutely spiritual connections to thermal areas and elsewhere throughout the park as well.
The geysers and the mud volcanoes were seen as portals to the supernatural world and were used by many different groups for fasting and for vision questing. The Crow used the park area extensively and considered it part of their homeland. They used the area for hunting, they used it for gathering plants, as well as various minerals that might have been used in pigments and paints. They still retain place names for locations within the park. The Kiowa, who now reside in Oklahoma, Part of their origin myth is that their people were essentially created and born somewhere in the mountains immediately to the north of Yellowstone. Thus, Yellowstone National Park and the surrounding area figures very prominently in their cultural identity. The Nez Perce used to hunt buffalo on the east side of the Bitterroot Mountains in Montana, and we're very familiar with this area even before the 1877 Nez Perce War. The Bannocks also hunted in this area. The Blackfeet also traveled through the park on many of their raids throughout western Wyoming and this area. The Salish-speaking Flathead and Pindarai also came into this area for hunting and other uses. The Eastern Shoshone, what we now also think of as the Wind River Shoshone, considered this part of their Aboriginal land claims. They led military expeditions through the park on well-worn and used Indian trails and had intimate knowledge of the geography and resources of the region. The Shoshone consisted of autonomous bands, politically autonomous bands, that were often named by the principal food resource. So hence in the mountains here, with the abundant evidence of sheep trapping, we have the sheep eaters. Over in the Idaho area, we have salmon eaters using the vast salmon resources of the Snake. There were the root diggers as well as the buffalo eaters who were more adapted to a plains lifeway. The only permanent residents that we can identify are the mountain Shoshone, or also known as the sheep eaters. In fact, the sheep eaters were extremely sophisticated hunters of mountain sheep, highly skilled flint knappers. Ancestors of the Shoshone, including the sheep eaters, created some of the most complex rock art that we know, not only in this region but in the world. It's known as the Dinwiddie tradition, and it's found in areas surrounding Yellowstone Park.
All right, thanks for sharing that, Alex. Fascinating. Any thoughts about what we just saw?
Yellowstone
Oops,
is known
oops.
for its breathtaking.
I gotta watch my cursor. Any thoughts? All right. Now, Alex, should I play this one, or what do you think?
Yeah, this is the last one. This actually just occurred a month ago, so that's why we watched the animals video as well. So,
And Alex, do you talk about the geology of it at all? Is there a video on the geology? Let me just take
this is the last video.
the last video. What I wanted to share with the group, I think there's been a lot of PBS specials and stories about this.
Oh yeah, there's like a lot. There's a ton of 30, 40, 50-minute documentaries on YouTube, just trying to find some of the shorter ones so we could take a look at these. So I encourage all the folks on the call to go on YouTube and look up more. There's a ton of Yellowstone documentaries and information if you just want to learn specifically more about a particular part of the park. So
Thanks. Thank you, Alex. Hey, but I did want to mention one thing about the geology. So volcanologists, people who study volcanoes, consider this to be one of the top 2 threats in the whole United States. The mountain that created Yellowstone had this massive eruption 600,000 years ago. They mentioned that in the video. If that were to happen today, it would cause the greatest loss of life in world history. And it would block out the sun for a long time. So they consider this a threat not only to the state of Wyoming and the United States, but it's actually an existential threat to the human species, because 600,000 years ago, it blocked out so much of the sun when this thing erupted. So you can look up that on the thing. The other mountain is Mount Rainier in Washington State. And that doesn't have as big of a cataclysm, but it's more likely to erupt than, in fact, it's the most likely mountain to erupt in the continent of the United States to cause a loss of life. All right, enough of that. Here we go.
Yellowstone is known for its breathtaking beauty, its geysers, and its wildlife, but it's the latter that has always drawn Christina Gaylor to America's oldest national park.
I just started to fall in love most of them.
Christina, one of hundreds who returns time and time again to photograph the park's wolves, but one has always seemed to stand out from the rest.
And of course, we all have favorites, which one of them was 907.
907, the park's oldest wolf, is one Gaylor has been tracking nearly every day. However, on Wednesday, 907 died due to injuries from a wolf attack days earlier, a shock to many.
We just learned yesterday morning that no, she didn't win this battle. It was hard.
Gardner-based photographer Debbie Dixon also took the news hard. She's been tracking the wolf since the beginning in 2013.
907 was not ever what you would call a photogenic wolf in the way that wolves will sometimes get close to us. Always kept her distance.
907 was known to many as an anomaly in Yellowstone. She lived to be 11 and a half years old, nearly 3 times longer than the average wolf, and had just given birth to her 10th litter of pups in May, perhaps the oldest wolf in Yellowstone to give birth to pups. She was also blind in one eye.
You would never know that she was blind in an eye. She was out hunting just like any other wolf. She ran along the landscape.
She just kept going on. That's the resiliency, which is, I think, we the humans can learn of.
A wolf who had a following around the world.
All of us who loves wolves think that at least she died as a wolf in the wild.
And perhaps the wolf most known by Yellowstone visitors since the animals were reintroduced to the park nearly 30 years ago.
I feel so blessed. I feel so lucky to have been able to know these animals, to watch their lives.
Her knowledge was in her body language. Her experience were in her behavior. Her wisdom was in her reactions. Her resilience was in her 11 years and 8 months. She was 907, the matriarch of the Junction Butte family.
In Yellowstone, Isabel Sparts, MTN News. Yellowstone is known.
Fascinating. All right, Alex, take us away.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Doris, for your chat. Again, as I mentioned this morning, it's a small world. So, yes, they definitely treat you very well at the Park Service. So for today, we're going to keep things pretty simple. So just everyone, you're able to unmute and share your answer for these questions. We're going to, go through these, and then we could just share your answers, and let's see how many we get correct. Again, pretty simple, very fun today. So let's go ahead and go into our trivia. So again, please unmute and share. One moment. Okay. Our first question for today is Yellowstone National Park has over 2.2 million acres, touches 3 of the states in America. In which of the 50 states is the vast majority of the land found? Again, you can just unmute yourself and share what you think.
Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Okay, here's some Wyomings. Again, you can unmute yourself and share your answer.
I said Wyoming too.
Okay, so that seems the majority. Let's see if we're right towards the end. A geyser is a hot spring that is under pressure and erupts. There are many geysers found in Yellowstone. There is one, however, that is commonly associated with the park and erupts about every 90 minutes. What is its name?
Oh, faithful. Oh, faithful.
Oh, faithful.
Okay, let's see. Many people hike around the area called Artist Paint Pots on the western side of the park. What is bubbling in these various pots? Is it
Mud.
chalk?
Mud.
Mud. Okay, anyone else besides mud? Okay. One of the most photographed thermal features is the Grand Prismatic Spring. It's beautiful. True or false? The layers around the edge get their shades from different species of heat-loving bacteria.
True.
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 Okay, good. Whereas it was U.S. Grant who made Yellowstone the nation's first national park, it was a later president who spent 2 weeks touring the acreage. Who was this man who in 1903 spent 2 weeks in the acreage and helped spread the word of the park?
Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this breathtaking area is 4,000 feet wide, 1,200 feet deep. It's on the eastern part of the park. It shares its name with another famous landmark in Arizona. What is it called?
No, Grand Canyon of
Grand Canyon of
Grand Canyon.
Okay, I heard one Niagara Falls. I heard quite a bit of Grand Canyon. So
Grand Canyon of Yellowstone.
yeah, I think we'll go with that. Mammoth Hot Springs is an area towards north part of Yellowstone. It is comprised of travertine terraces that have formed over thousands of years. Of what material are they composed of?
Limestone.
Granite.
I think it's clay, but I might be wrong.
I say granite.
I'll say granite.
Granite.
This is an interesting one. This is a little bit about the geology. What do you think number 7 is?
Granite. I think granite too.
That's clay, but I'm just guessing.
Okay, I heard limestone, I heard coal, I heard granite. Yeah, this one's a tough one. So go with limestone and see how it goes. Yellowstone Lake within the park is about 20 miles long and 14 miles wide. It can freeze over the winter, remains very cold all year. It holds an American record as well. What is it? Deepest lake in America, largest man-made lake, the saltiest lake, or largest high elevation lake in America?
Largest
elevation lake.
And
Largest high
okay.
evaluation lake in America. Elevation.
Okay, I heard elevation. I heard the man-made lake. Who wants to pick the answer?
Largest high elevation.
Okay, we'll see what that is anymore. In 88, a natural disaster destroyed over 30% of Yellowstone's acreage. Luckily, over the years, the altered landscape began a healing process. What was this major event?
Forest
fire.
Forest fire.
Okay, and our last one. Many visitors come to Yellowstone to view the amazing array of animals. These large bovines can be spotted all over the park. What are these beasts?
Bison.
Okay, so let's submit our answers and let's see how we did today. Okay, so that was correct. Wyoming, yep. Thank you so much. It's also in southern Montana and Idaho. So those are the 3 states in America. Yeah, Old Faithful. It was discovered in 1870 and it roughly erupts every 90 minutes. Goodness. Mud, so hot water and hydrogen sulfide gas mix together and form sulfuric acid, and the acid eats away at the rock. And it also has a sulfuric rotten egg smell. Oh, if anyone smelled like sulfur before, that kind of smell. Yeah. We got that. Yes, it's true. We learned about the I forgot the expected word, but the
Grand
heat
prismatic
lover.
pool.
Yeah, the heat-loving bacteria, the thermophiles, there you go, that's the word. Heat-loving bacteria, that's why all the different colors are there. And the blue center is because the scattering blue wavelengths of light is reflecting back to us, just kind of like the sky. That's why we see the blue. Teddy Roosevelt, I did not know this. He was the second president to visit Yellowstone, but he spent 2 full weeks there. He loved the park. He spent hours hiking by himself. They took photos, and he laid the cornerstone for the arch, which would bear his name. So if I zoom in, look at that arch. He actually helped create this image right here, this arch. So I did not know that. That was quite interesting. Second. Thank you. Let's zoom back out. Number 6, Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. You got that. It was in 69 when it was 1869 when it was discovered. Multiple trails, viewing points allow people to view the upper falls at 109 feet tall or 308 feet tall at some of these falls. That's really tall. Limestone, there you go. More geology, Lou. It's an extremely active location. It sits above a huge magma chamber. And they definitely have talked about the volcanoes too, but these sediments are available there. You guys are right. High elevation lake in America. Yellowstone is the largest in the United States. It has over 140 miles of shoreline. Wow. And it's rich in nutrients, and it serves as a gateway to fish, camp, and boat. Yep, the forest fire, summer of '88 was the, so unfortunately a little bit like California right now. But with the damage and with the fires raging, the new trees and the animals and grasses have sprung up, so that they've returned. So that's good. And Bison, so you guys got 10 out of 10. So good job, you guys.
Hey, Alex, I hate to interrupt. Can you give me 20 seconds? Just 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, this is I can't not do this. This is the most amazing thing about Yellowstone. I'm sorry for jumping in. Let me share our screen for a second. 20 seconds, Alex. You ready? Okay, here we go. Okay. And here we go.
Right now, in the United States, one of the world's largest volcanoes is gearing up to explode. It's known as the Yellowstone volcano. And it's not just any regular volcano. Nope. It's a super volcano. If Yellowstone decided to erupt, the results would be devastating. But how bad would they be? Is there anything we can do to stop it?
No.
Would it affect the entire world?
Yep.
And how would this change our weather? This.
Okay, I just wanted to leave you with that. You can do your own research. It's considered one of the existential threats in the whole world.
Yeah, because of all the geysers and hot springs, they're near all this geological activity. So the volcano at Yellowstone, definitely try to check that out. But thank you, Lou. What did you learn from the trivia? Did you learn anything new from the trivia?
Everything was new. Thank you. That was great.
Okay, I hope you all learned something new as well, and I hope you guys had some fun. Thanks so much for coming on our lunch club this week. Again, next week, make sure you check us out for another brand new national park. Thank you guys for the suggestions. We're gonna go local, and I'll see you all at 1:30 for Jordan and myself for Module 1. Let's all say thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Lou.
Lou.
Thank you, Lou.
Thank you,
Thank you, Alex.
Lou. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks, everybody. That was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Lou.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Alex.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
Lou.
All
Thank you,
Vote into
everybody.
Wrestling
You guys did amazing. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that was
Thanks so much.
great. Hey,
Good job.
all right. Thanks, everyone.